and their money wouldn't help them. There was two sources of water that they had opportunity to source. Firstly, there was Aplis' springs, which sat up I think it was about 30 metres above them, above a cliff. The water stream was there. They were hot water springs. The water came flowing over the side, down the cliff, into the city. And what temperature do you think the water was by the time it was hot, come down the cliff and flowed into the city? Lukewarm. Okay, but they didn't use this water for anything to do with eating or food or cleaning, because they were worried that people could sneak up to Aplis' hot springs, put some poison in there, no one would ever see them, the water would come over the side, flow into the city, they'd drink it, they'd all be gone. So, there was another water source about 10 kilometres away at a place called Pamukkale. Okay, and you may have seen pictures of this. Has anyone seen Pamukkale before? This looks like a cold place. Let me assure you it's not. That white is not snow. It's actually calcium mineral deposits, calcium carbonate to be specific. And I have other pictures up there of people in their bikinis and their swimmers, but I didn't want to distract you by using them. But it's a warm place. It's a tropical environment. People go there to enjoy the hot water springs. Now, this calcium carbonate deposit makes the water very hard. I'll come to that in a second. So anyway, what they did is they built an aqueduct, a clay pipe that was just beneath the surface, and they piped this water 10 kilometres away from Pamukkale into Laodicea, where they would enjoy the water. But by the time it was hot, it went 10 kilometres through clay pipes. At the other end it was lukewarm. Okay, easy. So all of their water sources in Laodicea were lukewarm. So when Jesus spoke to them about lukewarm, they knew exactly what it was like, because they would have been tired of drinking lukewarm water. Now, coming out of the hot spring was so much calcium carbonate that the water was so hard you could just about walk on it. You could impersonate Peter. But there are other problems with hard water. Has anyone ever lived in an area with hard water? Do you know what hard water does when you wash a white shirt in hard water? It doesn't come out white, does it? It comes out a dingy grey or brown, depending on what the minerals are in the particular water. Now, the clothes wouldn't come out looking white. Now, there was a thing. Laodicea, they didn't want to hear negative things, did they? All they wanted to hear was good things. And so, because white clothes wouldn't stay white, and that would remind them of the flaws in their water supply, what colour would have been fashionable in Laodicea? Black. Because if you wear black and you wash black stuff in hard water, it comes out and it's still black. And so you can pretend there's no problems. And so there was a very good reason why black woolen garments were fashionable in Laodicea. It helped them with their false sense of who they were, ignoring their problems, pretending that they didn't exist. Anyway, enough about that. So the Laodicean church was a church that just loved the prayer of Jabez. Lord, bless me so that I can be a blessing. But I believe that the church of Laodicea needs to pray the prayer of Paul on the road to Damascus. Lord, what do you want me to do? And they need to pray the prayer of Jesus, not my will, but thy will be done. And they need to pray the prayer of David in Psalm 51. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions, wash away all my iniquity, and cleanse me from sin. After such a strong rebuke, we have to wonder, can anything be hopeful about this church? And the answer is yes. The reason that God brought such a stern warning to the church of Laodicea was that he believed the church of Laodicea could be redeemed. If he thought they were gone, if he thought they were lost, he wouldn't have bothered writing to them. And to me, this is the good news of Laodicea. I'd like you to come with me back to Revelation chapter 3 as we pick up verse 18. Revelation 3 and verse 18 and 19. He says, Jesus speaking, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, so you can become rich, and white clothes to wear, so you can cover your shameful nakedness, and salve to put on your eyes, so you can see. Those whom I love I rebuke and discipline, so be earnest and repent. Wow, what a powerful verse. Does that verse come alive for you more now when you understand the history of the city of Laodicea? If Jesus was to bring that message to the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Sydney, in Penrith today, he probably wouldn't talk about buying gold and buying white clothes and buying eye salve. But he would strike at the heart of the message. And the heart of the message is what? Self-sufficiency. Doing it in our own strength and not surrendering fully to Jesus Christ. God has enough hope for Laodicea that he offers them counsel. But you know, Laodicea doesn't view love that way. Laodicea thinks everything is wonderful. Laodicea is turning a blind eye to the problems because it only helps us to feel good about ourselves. And that's why God comes to them. Jesus comes to them and says, those whom I love, I rebuke and chasten. And it's such a shocking message that it reminds them that he is the faithful and true witness. He loves us so much that he doesn't want us to settle for second best, that he wants the very best for us. Laodicea was not the only one who struggled with a message that God disciplines those whom he loves. The Hebrew Christians were thinking about giving up their faith in Jesus because of persecution, and the Apostle Paul comes to them and uses a similar argument after reminding them that they have not yet resisted unto blood and they haven't paid with their lives. In Revelation 3 verse 18, Jesus gives 3 very specific commands, but what do they mean? The first one says, therefore I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, that you may be rich. In 1 Peter chapter 1, Peter compares our faith to gold that has gone through a fiery experience in order to purify it. You know, when you heat up steel, it goes hard, right? But when you heat up gold, it doesn't go hard, it goes soft and molten, and it allows all the impurities to float up to the surface so they can be skimmed off. And God does that with us a little bit as he purifies us through the fiery experiences that we go through in our lives. It makes us moldable. If we want pure gold, it's got to be heated. It's got to go through a fiery experience. And he says to Laodicea, you need a faith that's been tested in the fire, because you see, Laodicea had never suffered for one moment for their faith. They're like the seed in the parable that was planted in the stony ground, and it rose up quickly, and then the sun came out and it wilted away. The roots hadn't gone deep. Laodicea needs to seek roots that will withstand the scorching heat of ridicule and persecution. And that means we have to step out of our comfort zone, that we have to take faith risks for Jesus, to open our mouths, to be willing to tell our neighbour, our friend,